Before we begin, I appreciate your patience in waiting. We pulled the guy, dusted him off and brought him in.
My apologies.
Okay. All right. Meeting come to order. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Plan Commission meeting for March 6th, 2025. The meeting for the Village of Skokie. First order of business will be to take the roll. Commissioner Speyer is absent. Commissioner Manchella
Here.
is present. Commissioner Scott Berman.
Here.
Commissioner Franklin is absent. Commissioner Giviahu is absent. Commissioner Gupta is absent. Commissioner Jeff Berman.
Here.
Commissioner Ross Batey.
Here.
And I'm here. So we do have a quorum tonight. Thank you. There you go. First order of business is to approve the minutes from the last meeting. Do I have a motion, Mr. Berman?
Second.
Second from Ms. Manchella. All in favor? Any additions or corrections to the minutes? None? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, minutes have been approved. Again, good evening. First case tonight is case 2025-03P, site plan approval at 5101 Oakton Street, 7700 Grosse Pointe through 7720 Grosse Pointe Road. And this is the High School District 219, and you're asking for a site plan approval. So as the petitioner, we're going to have the staff, procedure tonight will be, we'll have the staff give us a report. After the staff is finished, we can question the staff, and then I will ask the representatives from the school district to come up and make their presentation. After that, I will open the floor for any public comments. Okay, do we have the staff, who's going to present the case for staff? Jose? Thank you. Is there a notice? I was going to wait till I get to the podium.
Okay.
You wait?
I'm just efficient. You know, what can I say?
Is the notice in order, Counselor?
Notice is proper and correct.
Thank you. Okay. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Commissioners and Chairman Luke. I'd like to ask that the staff report be accepted into the record as written.
Granted.
Thank you. Case 2025-03P is related to the proposed additions to the Niles West High School campus in the R2 Single Family and M1 Office Assembly and Industry zoning districts. Site plan approval for a 4-lot plan development is being requested as the petitioner proposes to construct a 2-story building that will serve as a new location of Niles Central High School with an alternative education use, and a 3-story addition at Niles West High School, along with reconfigured surface parking, new stormwater detention, and a new signalized intersection at Grosse Pointe Road. Also important to note, the parking lot on the northeast corner of the Niles West High School campus is owned by the Illinois Department of Transportation, but is included in the consideration of their site plan approval. The petitioner has had communication with IDOT regarding the ownership of this lot and will be required to provide some sort of formal agreement for the use of this lot. The proposed improvements to the Niles West campus will positively impact traffic conditions in the surrounding neighborhood. A new traffic signal on Grosse Pointe Road will enhance both pedestrian and vehicular safety, while also reducing off-site congestion at Grosse Pointe Road and Oakton Street. The Illinois Department of Transportation, which oversees this section of Grosse Pointe Road, has confirmed that the proposed signal is warranted and will improve traffic flow. Additionally, as part of the new traffic signal on Grosse Pointe Road, a walkway is proposed from the new signalized intersection to Oakton Street to provide pedestrian access to Niles Central High School. As part of this project, we have worked with staff to address the unimproved driveway off Austin Avenue, which serves the football stadium on the west side of campus. An additional condition will be included as part of the approval process as the development moves forward for review by the Village Board of Trustees. The petitioners have agreed to pave the driveway portion within the public right-of-way to meet village standards when the village schedules the resurfacing of Austin Avenue. This architectural site plan highlights the locations of the proposed additions, a new building on the southeast corner of campus off Grosse Point Road, and an expansion to the existing building on the northeast side of campus. On the northeast corner of campus, a 3,905 square foot single-story section of the existing building will be demolished to make way for a 40,633 gross square foot, three-story addition. This new space will serve as the school's main office and administration building. And as outlined before, this portion highlighted in yellow is the IDOT property included in the consideration of this project. This site plan outlines the newly proposed two-story, 42,591 gross square foot Niles Central High School, located on the south end of the Niles West campus. It also features a reconfigured parking lot as well as the newly proposed traffic signal along Grosse Point Road. Regarding land use, the proposed new two-story building that will serve as a new location for Niles Central High School is classified as an alternative education facility, which is only permitted in the B3 business district. According to section 118.272 of the Village Code, a plan development must include only uses allowed within its zoning districts. However, under the proportionate exception clause, up to 20% of the total development area may be allocated to other uses. Since Niles Central High School occupies no more than 20% of the overall development, it qualifies for this consideration under this provision. Staff recommends that the petitioner's request for site plan approval to construct a two-story building that will serve as a new location of Niles Central High School with an alternative education use and a three-story addition at Niles West High School, along with reconfigured surface parking, new stormwater detention, and a new signalized intersection at Grosse Point Road within the R2 Single Family and M1 Office Assembly Industry Zoning District be approved, subject to the recommended conditions and attached proposed findings of fact. In addition to seeking site plan approval for the four-lot plan development, the petitioner is requesting relief on four specific items. Number one, relief from section 82-26 to allow the installation of directional signs in a residential zoning district. Number two, relief from section 82-712 to permit directional signs that exceed 4 square feet and have a maximum dimension greater than 38 inches in one direction. Number three, relief from section 118-233E to waive the requirement of one parking lot tree within the interior of the parking area for every 15 parking spaces. And number four, relief from section 118-233C1 to waive the requirement for landscaping between the property line and the continuous curbing adjacent to street frontages in parking lots. This specifically pertains to the omission of landscaping along Grosse Point Road in the south parking lot. Staff believes that these requests for relief are justified considering the site's context and its established use. The following are the proposed findings of fact for this development. The request includes improvements to mitigate any adverse impacts to the adjacent properties, adequate public facilities, including roads, drainage, utilities, and police and fire protection currently exists to serve the requested use, and improvements are proposed with the construction of the Niles Central High School building. Adequate provisions for the maintenance of the associated structures is demonstrated by the request. The request incorporates sustainability measures, including electric vehicle charging, geothermal well field, new underground stormwater detention, permeable pavers, and bioswale volume control facilities. It is not anticipated that the request will create undue traffic congestion, as improvements should reduce off-site traffic congestion. Public health, safety, and welfare will not be adversely affected by the request, as the campus improvements should create better vehicular and pedestrian movement throughout the site. The request will conform to all applicable provisions of this code. And additional considerations for planned developments. The project enhances the Niles West High School campus by incorporating public infrastructure, amenities, and facilities that contribute to the existing campus and the overall well-being of the surrounding area. The proposed plan development will not create an environment that is detrimental to the health, safety, or general welfare of persons residing within it or its vicinity. And the recommended site plan approval conditions from staff are in the packet and on the screen for your review. To summarize, the subject property shall be developed in substantial conformance with the final village approved plans and be submitted as electronic files. Additionally, any expansion of the proportion exception will require a full review by the Plan Commission and Village Board and will not be eligible for modified review. The project currently uses approximately 6% of the gross floor area out of the 20% proportion exception allowed by the Village Code. Any future changes to the plan development, site plan approval may require an application for modified site plan review. And finally, failure to abide by any and all terms of this ordinance shall be cause for the village to initiate hearings to determine whether the subject ordinance should be revised or revoked. And the petitioner shall pay all costs related to any hearings conducted as a result of noncompliance with any of the provisions of the enabling ordinance.
Okay.
And as previously mentioned, an additional condition will be incorporated prior to the review by the Village Board of Trustees that reads, at the time of the Village of Skokie's Austin Avenue resurfacing project, the petitioner shall be responsible for paving the unimproved driveway on the west side of the Niles West High School campus that provides access to the football stadium within the public right-of-way and shall cover all associated costs. And now I'm open to any questions.
Okay, any questions of the staff?
I know one question.
Good.
And if we approve this, which I think we're leaning toward, does that include, because I didn't see it, as a condition of the IDOT land? I think you're trying to include that as part of the proposal, and are we then, when we approve this entire proposal, approving it conditioned upon that working out of an agreement with IDOT?
So the IDOT parking lot is a part of the consideration for the site plan approval. However, that would be a separate permitting process through IDOT. And any changes for that parking lot would require.
I'm just trying to, I want to get this approved, but it seems as though either we're premature because we don't have an IDOT agreement, or when we approve it, do we say it is approved conditioned on those conditions that the staff has already discussed and a further agreement with IDOT?
Well, District 219's staff has communicated with us that they have had communications with IDOT, and they could probably speak more to that, but, yeah.
Okay. But they've been using it for a
Yes,
number of years now.
They have, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to add, I think it's understanding that that's part of their operations. If they were going to expand into it with some new configuration, I think we probably could add that condition, but considering it has long been part of the site, I think we're okay to consider it as part of the site.
Okay.
Unless they wake up IDOT and they realize it's theirs. Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Jose. Could we have the petitioner,
Yep.
would you come up, give us your name and your relationship to the petitioner?
Good evening. My name is Ken Flory. I'm an attorney from Robin Schwartz,
Okay.
and we are one of the attorneys for the school.
Okay,
Good evening, Anthony Praxis with Studio GC, District Architect working with District 219.
okay, and you're gonna give testimony tonight?
Yes.
Could you raise your right hand? Do you affirm that the testimony you give tonight is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Staff did a great job at presenting a lot of the details, so some of these slides, I'll zip through them, but if you want me to stop and go back, we can certainly do that. And I think we can probably shrink down our presentation because staff did such a great job. Again, we have, the people in the audience are all part of our group. We have Assistant Superintendent Jim Vreeland, Sarah Kowalski, our Director of Finance and Operations, one of our attorneys, Lowen Sweeney, and Dana, and as well as Athy and Pat Callahan. All right, as you saw, this was this is our aerial of the property, and then these are the three areas that were already discussed by staff. The Niles West Addition, Niles Central, and the Grosse Point Road traffic signal. Athy's just going to briefly talk about the purpose behind the Niles West Addition.
So the first area was Niles West Addition. And as previously mentioned, the intent with the addition is to consolidate primarily visitor services, increase safety and security within the building, as well as provide some additional student programming opportunities within the building. The addition is not due to an increase in student enrollment over the years. Enrollment has been stable, and the district's projected enrollments over the next foreseeable future are also indicating a stable enrollment. So this is purely to provide additional programming opportunities and improve interior building security and safety and wayfinding. The second area of proposed improvements on the site is the new construction of a two-story standalone building for Niles Central. Niles Central is a building for students for Niles West and Niles North to access throughout the school day for additional programming opportunities, certificate courses, and career pathways. So this is servicing students of District 219 who may be coming from Niles West or Niles North high schools.
It's important to note that there will not be any students from outside the district.
Okay. Are these buildings, green buildings, I mean, low carbon footprint and all that?
Yes, so both of these buildings, the addition and the new building at Niles Central, propose to have geothermal mechanical systems, very efficient, green, low VOC, all of those items, with the potential future for adding solar panels as well.
Okay, thank you.
Then the third item of improvement was the Grosse Pointe traffic signal. So existing conditions, then an overlay of where the proposed signal would be highlighted in yellow with a new entry to the site. The location is located to avoid the gas main that was referenced earlier that passes on the site in the packet, and then the reconfiguration of the south parking lot to improve on-site traffic circulation. So high-level overview of that, on-site operations would be adjusted to provide additional queuing for both vehicles and buses on the south side of the school, where would be the primary student entrance within the building. So counterclockwise, passenger side curb to the building side to further increase safety operations on site against vehicle circulation patterns. Then landscaping improvements. So around the addition at Niles West, additional landscaping areas including native prairie and bioswale opportunities. And Niles Central on the right side of the screen, adding additional planting areas and trees and native species in that area. Adding additional screening away from the building areas along Oakton Avenue to provide screening at the property line. So that is along the length of the existing parking lots along Oakton. And adding additional landscape opportunities surrounding the varsity baseball field. So existing conditions on the right, it's taking the current area in the middle and expanding the shrubbery planting across the foul line yard.
Go through these. As staff already went over this, these are positive findings of fact. And a request for relief. The signage is pretty clear why we need the relief for the signage. You want people to know where they're going and not, whether it's passengers or drivers, that could cause traffic problems if they don't clearly understand where they're going. And the relief for the parking lots, really two rationales for that. We have most primarily young drivers. Trees in the parking lot can be a hazard to that, but more important than that, for safety purposes, you have to be very careful where you put landscaping within a high school, within a school property, so that people can't hide behind them and create safety issues. Anything to add on that? Okay. That's it. We're glad to answer any questions.
Any questions of the petitioner?
I have two questions. One is all the new stormwater detention underground, or is there there's no new bowl created?
No, yes, it'll all be underground.
And what change to the number of parking spaces will there be after all of the construction?
There is a net decrease in parking. The number I know was in the packet. I don't recall off the top of my head. I want to say it was maybe around 180.
180 decrease?
It was a decrease.
A considerable decrease, that's
Yes,
what
yes.
Went from 1,000 something to 880 something.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like 820, right, thanks.
In the IDOT parking lot, that's been used since the history of the school. We've had a letter of agreement currently in place with IDOT for another joint, for the stairwell, I believe. And we've been in communication with them and don't expect any problem with just going through their process. Will be the only hang-up, but they didn't even know they owned it.
Well, then one follow-up question back to the parking, and that is, what operational problems are there in decreasing the overall parking from 1,000 to 800 and something?
I can go back to the aerial just because this might help with overall context. So up until about 5 years ago or so, this portion of the site parking lot here was used for driver's ed courses. And then after that, it was actually utilized for parking for the school buses on site. So this was never previously utilized or needed for parking by occupants of Niles West or even the adjacent buildings. So those operations have since relocated off-site. So there's not, while enrollment has stayed the same, so there's not a decrease of usage of parking.
So the number of spaces may be changing, but the usage is actually
Right.
expanded,
Right,
right?
and I remember when we approved the movement of the
You have a
buses.
question?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Matei?
Two questions. First is, so this has already moved through school board approval. This is in order to get here. Great. Is the school currently operates its administrative offices off-site? That has a school as well, correct?
No, it's on site. Administrative facilities are,
They're at 7,700 gross.
Yeah, they're
point.
further
Yeah,
south.
further south, and then that has a school associated with it as an alternative school? Am I wrong?
Niles Central.
Niles Central. And that doesn't change with the addition of the new school building on the campus?
Correct, it's just moving the
Well,
students from
Could
the
you,
attached building.
could you make,
Oh, I'm sorry.
come to the podium?
Jim, they need to swear you in also.
Yeah, come up and, first of all, come up and introduce yourself and I will swear you in.
Jim Bream, the Assistant Superintendent for Business for Niles
Okay.
District 219.
All right, sir. Do you affirm that, excuse me, do you affirm that the testimony you give tonight is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, please.
Yes. So currently, district office is attached to Niles Central. So the idea is that we would relocate the students from Central to this new facility just to create a better learning environment for those students to better meet their academic needs.
And then what'll happen to that space?
We will reallocate and repurpose the space, offices, et cetera, more of a professional development area. It's still open for discussion related to what we're gonna do with that space, but it will not be torn down. We're still gonna, the district office will still operate out of 7,700.
You still have meetings there, the board
Yes,
meetings?
like our board meetings are held there, professional development opportunities are held there, yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
I have a question since you're here. How is the parking allocated? Is there a portion for students and a portion for teachers and staff?
Yes, sir. So there, students have the ability to purchase a permit to park on the property through our security office. There's approximately 270 spaces that are allocated currently that is gonna be reduced, just kind of based upon the current allocation. And then we ensure that, the staff have adequate parking to meet the needs and get access to the building.
So you can actually limit the number of students parking
Yes, sir.
at your whim?
Yes, we look at, demand, et cetera, and that works through our safety team.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? No? Okay. Well, thank you very much,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Is there anybody in the audience who wishes to comment or have a question on this case? Oh, not seeing any. I guess we're open for motion. Commissioner Jeff Berman.
Well, actually, back to Scott's question.
Sure.
Are you satisfied with that, or?
Yes, I'm satisfied. It's only a matter of whether it moves appropriately to the board from us with what Johanna said is the IDOT agreement. If Johanna's in agreement, then I'm in agreement. She looks happy.
Yeah.
Then I make a motion that we move for consideration, the plan that was written for, now I don't have the case numbers.
2025.
2025.
Dash
03P.
Yes. Okay. Do I have a second?
We say consideration, move to approve.
So,
To approve.
approve, okay. Commissioner Manicello seconds. All right, a call for the vote. Commissioner Manchella,
Aye.
Commissioner Scott Berman.
Aye.
Commissioner Jeff Berman,
Aye.
Commissioner Matei.
Aye.
And I'll vote aye. Now, this still has to go before the Board of Trustees for final approval, and the board meets on the first and third Monday of each month. And do we have an idea of when this case will go before that? Okay,
We still have to vote on the relief.
So, I think as we've explained, there's a new board coming in, so we will, once we get a better sense of their commitments and their agenda schedule, it's still meeting the first and the third Mondays, but, there's lots of things already on the docket, so we will keep you posted.
I've been reminded by Corporation Council that we do have to vote on the reliefs. How many are there?
4.
4 reliefs, okay.
I will make the motion. It looks like they are about trees and directional signs. So let me make that motion to approve relief from 8226, allowing the installation of directional signs in a residential zoning district.
Okay,
Number 2, relief from 82.7, paren 12, to permit directional signs exceeding 4 square feet with a maximum dimension greater than 38 inches in one direction. Number 3, relief from 118-233C1 with a request to waive the requirement for landscaping between the property line and the continuous curbing adjacent to street frontages and parking lots. And relief number 4, from 118-233, paren E, with a request to waive the requirement of 1 parking lot tree within the interior of the parking area for every 15 spaces.
okay. Do I have a second? Commissioner Jeff Berman. Call for the vote on the relief. Any questions, any additions, any questions on the relief? Okay. Commissioner Manchella.
Aye.
Commissioner Scott Berman.
Aye.
Commissioner Jeff Berman. Commissioner Matei. And I'll vote aye. Okay, so that does finalize it. And again, this has to go before the board. I wish you all good luck with the project. Nice to see it expand, and I'm sure it'll be a benefit to the students and to the community. So, anything else? Okay, we're gonna move on to public comments. Do we have anyone who has a public comment? No one's coming forward. Then, any communications, anything from the staff? Okay, then I call this meeting adjourned. Thank you for coming.